Primobolan versus Masteron. Which is better? Stay tuned. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
RX Television, RxMuscle.com. This is Ask Dave, your weekly Q&A with Dave Palumbo. Welcome to the Olympia Week version of Ask Dave, and certainly we're going to be taking some of your Olympia-related questions in addition to everything else that you have regarding diet, training, supplementation, and everything else that we offer on this show, bodybuilding or non-bodybuilding. Before we take the first question, the RX Muscle Olympia Prediction Contest, the link is the first link in the article description as well as the first comment. If you haven't already entered, you have till Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, we are going to close the competition, and barring any sort of last-minute dropouts of the elite level, so let's just say we have another open class bodybuilder withdraw from the show, only then will we reopen in order for you to change your selections. But other than that, the contest will be locked at Thursday, 11:59 p.m. $750 top prize, $250 second place, in addition to all three, first, second, and third, winning prize packages, supplement prize packages from Species Nutrition, and free chicken from the Chicken Pound. Carlo Filipponi stepping up big time for us. So again, if you haven't already done so, enter the first ever RX Muscle Olympia Prediction Contest.
I want to say something about it because you know what? I was so shocked at how many thousands of people have entered already, Sid, that I'm super excited. Number one, because when you have that many people, there's a very good chance that someone actually might get all the selections correct. And if they do, that would be mind-boggling. I'm happy that all you guys have responded so favorably. You liked the contest, you entered. With my luck, someone in China is going to win the contest. We're going to have to send chicken. Carlos going to have to send chicken to China. But
what I just thought about? We probably should have put some sort of a disclaimer only for the continental U.S. 48 states as well as Canada. But China, knowing our luck, is that there'll be somebody in Mongolia that we're going to have to send a lot of chicken and supplements to. And $750 is going to be... it's going to go a long way there. But anyway, we're appreciative of all your support for this contest. And this is the first time that we're doing this in a formal setting. Last year, it was kind of more of a comment section contest, which a couple of you actually nailed 1 through 10. So, but again, I
want you to just clarify something. If people want to change their choices, because like when Nick Walker dropped out, how did they do that?
So they literally go back, just click on the link, the exact link that you used to enter the competition. Because it's in Google format, it'll give you a notification. Oh, by the way, you already filled this out. Click to edit, so you can go and edit your choices. It's that easy. So
okay, great.
All right, let's go to the questions. First two questions on the show, of course, from the Dave Palumbo Experience app. First question, let me pull it up. Just closed out that tab a second ago. Question is about for female bodybuilders. If my source for Primobolan is questionable, sketchy at best, and to not risk injecting testosterone or some other compound, can a female bodybuilder use Masteron instead? If so, would the dosage be equivalent to that of Primobolan?
Okay, first of all, Primobolan is not equivalent to Masteron. Masteron is a lot stronger. It's a lot more potent. It has more androgenic side effects for women. I wouldn't suggest that they're comparable to each other. As a matter of fact, probably 200 milligrams of Masteron is, I would say, 3 times stronger than 200 milligrams of Primobolan per week. So if you're a woman, as far as I'm concerned, the only safe compound is really Anabar, which you'll get no side effects from. Then the next group of like potentially safe compounds that are, relatively safe, but some people can have some problems with them, would be your Primobolan and Winstrol. Winstrol tends to have a little less side effects than Primobolan because Primobolan is long acting. Unless you're using the Primo acetate tabs, which we talked about last week on Ask Dave, those don't stay in the system that long. But those 3 compounds are the only thing really, if I'm a woman, that I would ever consider using. Once you start going to Masteron or even a little Deca, there are side effects that can start occurring, facial hair growth, deepening of the voice, and among other ones, acne and stuff like that. So I would be very cautious if I was a woman at using those other ones, because remember, these side effects are cumulative, meaning that maybe at first you might not notice them, but they're accumulating. You just don't know they're there until it's too late, and then you can't reverse it. So be very cautious. If you can't get Primobolan, use Winstrol. If you can't get Winstrol, use Anabar. There's a lot of choices out there, and I know there's a lot of a lot of these rejuvenation clinics sometimes will prescribe these drugs too, especially the Winstrol and the Anabar. So I highly recommend not using Masteron unless you're at that level where you're a female bodybuilder, you don't care, and you've used it before. But if you're in like a bikini, if you're in figure, I wouldn't mess with that.
Second question, again, these first 2 questions from the Dave Palumbo Experience app. Is there a big difference between injectable BPC 157 and the oral form? Which one is better?
Anytime you have to inject, I would say that the injectable form is superior because you're guaranteeing that it's going into the bloodstream. Plus, we like to inject the BPC 157 locally. So if you have, let's say you have a shoulder injury and you put it in your shoulder, while it eventually will go into the bloodstream, you're having a higher concentration in this area initially, so you tend to get a little bit of a localized effect from it. So I think the injection form is going to obviously be superior because of the fact that you can locally inject it, and secondly, you can guarantee that you're going to get it all into the bloodstream. Orally, sometimes some of it gets destroyed by the digestive system. These are 2 good questions coming from the Dave Palumbo Experience app. If you guys haven't signed up for it, it's $29 a month. You can download it from your iTunes store or your Android store. And you get me basically as a coach in your back pocket. You get all my videos I've ever done, all my writings in one place, all my protocols, off-season, pre-contest diets, drug cycles. I answer everyone's questions in an open forum. You see everyone's questions and everyone's answers. I actually also do a Q&A video. So it's like a second Ask Dave you get every single week on the app. Plus, we put up a workout every single week. It's a great, great value. I know with Christmas coming up, a lot of people are looking for stocking stuffers to buy their significant others. It's a great, for $29 a month, you can't go wrong. It's a great little gift, and it's a tool that enables you to keep on learning. If you're a coach and you have to pay taxes on all the money you make, it's continuing education. It's tax deductible. So I want to thank everyone who is a member. We have a couple thousand members. I want to thank everyone for supporting the app.
Take questions from our Instagram, from our YouTube community page, as well as Facebook. We're going to mix in some Olympia-related questions as well. Can taking a psyllium fiber product in the same shaker cup as whey protein isolate diminish protein absorption? Should they each be taken spaced apart?
No, fiber will not absorb like a water-soluble like protein source like that. It's absolutely fine to mix them together. Personally, I don't do it because I think it makes the shake too thick, and it's almost like I just swig my fiber down. If I were to mix the fiber with the whey protein, it would almost be like too much, too goopy. But some people like that, especially people who are dieting. They like to sit there and eat it like a Jello. I guess if you mix vanilla, I don't know, you can make like a cherry vanilla. If you mix the cherry, the fruit punch fiberlize with the vanilla isolized, you can get like a cherry vanilla thing going on there. But that's actually how I originally formulated. I used to have cherry vanilla isolized, and I used to mix the two. But it is very thick. It won't affect absorbability, but it just might be hard to tolerate.
Question about squatting or building legs with tendonitis in both knees. The question is if you could develop big legs with squatting lighter weights, but still taking to failure, or is doing a superset or giant sets help for the lighter weight instead of going heavy again due to his tendonitis? Do I have to go heavy, or can I go medium weight to failure, but still build a good set of wheels?
You know, heavyweight builds muscle. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Full range motion. If you have tendonitis in both knees, it usually is a result of a biomechanical imbalance. In other words, very few people have injuries in both knees at the same time. With the, so if you're getting like strains in your knees from doing squats or doing certain leg movements, it could be that your feet are biomechanically not aligned properly. If you have like flat feet, you don't have arches. Now you're pushing from too much on the inside of your foot as opposed to from the entire foot, a balanced foot. I always found that when my orthotics, which are custom inserts I wear in my shoes, and I have a lot of bodybuilders wearing them. When they break down, I tend to get knee pain, and that's because now the alignment of my feet are off because they're not being supported by the orthotic. So I have to, you're supposed to change them every year and a half to 2 years. When I get new ones, all my knee pain goes away. So if you're having chronic knee pain and there's no explanation for it other than the doctor telling you it's tendonitis, you might want to go get a pair of custom orthotics made from your local podiatrist or chiropractor. Put them in your shoes. Give yourself a good couple months on them, and I bet you'll see that pain disappear.
I actually got a few questions relating to working around injuries or some sort of ailments. What is a good replacement for skull crushers? I've been doing it for a while, but now my elbows are on fire every time I hit them.
Yeah, I never really liked skull crushers. Some people can get away with doing them. To me, they never really worked my triceps. I just didn't feel it. I don't think that you really necessarily need to do a specific exercise to replace skull crushers, but I will tell you this personally. The more isolating the movement I found when I would train biceps, triceps, the better the development I got was. Because think about it. A lot of people do these skull crushers. They do close bench press, right, for hit triceps. But you're using a lot of pec when you do that too. Even with skull crushers, you're using some front delt, and so you're not really putting the main thrust on the tricep. I always felt like the other muscles doing way more work than the triceps did. When I started doing overhead cable, extensions overhead, when I started doing reverse grip pull downs with a cable handle, one arm at a time, I was getting mind-boggling pumps in my triceps and mind-boggling intensity in the triceps because I was isolating that muscle to only work, and I wasn't using the accessory and the accessory muscles in the area. And I noticed that my arms started to grow way better when I did that. And I learned that trick from Vince Taylor. Same thing with biceps. When you do cable curls or dumbbell curls, I like cables better because of the continuous tension. Better for me, especially if you have long arms, than doing barbell curls. Now, if you have short arms, it seems like the conventional skull crushers and bicep curls work really well. Ask Lee Priest; he loved them. Those were his favorite exercises. But guys with longer arms tend to do better with isolating movements like that because the compound movements like those skull crushers, like close bench press, like barbell curls, just don't work as well.
Let's take an Olympia-related question. Don't you think Rafael Brandao is a bigger threat to the top 5 than Brandon Curry? Granted, he was obviously once Mr. Olympia. His lines are more aesthetic. Obviously now with the omission of Nick Walker. Do you think who poses a bigger threat to cracking that top 5 in your opinion, Brandon Curry or Rafael Brandao?
I haven't seen Rafa Brandao bring conditioning this year at all. I felt like he got a gift at the Arnold Brazil, and I just haven't seen him bring the level of conditioning we've seen from him in the past when he used to work with Chris. Hopefully to the Olympia, he'll bring it, and we'll see a better thing. I don't think that Rafa can beat Brandon Curry, though. Assuming that Curry comes in shape, even with his legs being a little slight of a weakness for himself, his upper body is just very. I mean, it's still among the best in the whole sport. I mean, if his legs ever matched his upper body, the guy would win Mr. Olympia every year. But he's got good legs. So, I mean, Curry came in 4th place last year and he was in the hospital the day before. So I think you'd be crazy to count Brandon Curry out of the top 6 in this event. I certainly don't think Brandao will beat him. I think that maybe potentially Martin Fitzwater if he made a few improvements from New York Pro, could squeeze in there. But even him, I'm not so sure that Brandon can lose to him. I think Brandon's destiny is really going to be in his own hands. If he comes in too flat, that's not good for him. If he comes in too full without enough conditioning, that's not a good look for him either. But if he seems to nail it, and he's been pretty good the last couple of years, been pretty consistent, I think that he's going to be tough to beat. Aside from the top guys like the Andrew Jack, Samson Dowda, and obviously Derek and Hottie. Other than that, I think that Brandon can take everyone else out.
How come when a bodybuilder pursues strength, they tend to get injured, mostly put down to gear usage, but untested powerlifters get less injured percentage-wise, even though they are on gear? Is there something in the training that suggests the low rep style work is better than the high rep work, despite countless people suggesting drop the load and do more reps? Is that why bodybuilders do poorly when they cross over to powerlifting, but powerlifters are more successful when they pursue bodybuilding?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that line of reasoning. I know as a bodybuilder, I was pretty strong, but I never did 1 rep maxes. I always try to stay away from that, because that always was like, that's a good way to get hurt and tear a muscle. But I always did full range of motion. For me, as a bodybuilder, we really focus on form. We're not really worried about getting the weight up, because if you cheat in bodybuilding to get the weight up, which is rewarded in powerlifting, right? If you get the weight up, it doesn't matter how you get it up. You get the lift, you won the meet. In bodybuilding, if you cheat how you get the weight up, you're not working the muscle that you're supposed to be working. So we're really concerned with how to work the muscle. So if I'm bench pressing and I'm doing incline with 405 and I'm squeezing the weight and I'm doing 4 good reps with it, even though I could probably somehow cheat up 500 pounds for 1 rep, is it really going to serve me to do that? No. I think that bodybuilders that don't lift heavy, don't challenge themselves and try to keep pushing the envelope, they don't get that gnarly looking, freaky looking muscle. Powerlifters have that because they recruit every single muscle fiber that they're using when they do their lifts. And the guys that lift heavy super intensely, like Dorian, Ronnie, Lavroni, they had that grainy look to their body because they were pushing maximum density. Nick Walker has that look too. So you need heavy weights if you want to really look the most impressive that you could. Dorian Yates too. How can I forget him? So there are guys that just are light lifters who are genetic freaks. Look at Vince Taylor. He never lifted heavy, and he had nice round billowy muscle because he genetically had that, but he never had the graininess that you would see from some of these other guys that were lifting heavy weights. So heavy weights definitely gives the muscle a different look. Not everyone needs to do that, because some people their muscles are genetically gifted. I don't think if I know that if I didn't lift heavy the way I did with full range of motion, I never would have had the development, and I never would have had that look that I had, which is that freaky look on stage. So.
Question about TESTOLYZE from Metal Bums. Do you recommend cycling TESTOLYZE for someone on TRT?
There's really no reason to, because you're not really taking anything hormonal. You're basically tweaking your own hormones. So you're taking herbal compounds that will lower DHT levels, lower estrogen levels, thus raising testosterone, directly stimulating the body to produce more testosterone. So once again, you're not taking anything artificial that you have to recover from, that you have receptor downgrade from. You're just tweaking your own body, and in doing so, you're getting better results because you're getting higher testosterone, lower estrogen, lower DHT. There's really no reason to stop it from that perspective, other than the fact that maybe you're just tired of taking the pills. Some guys will just go off it, every once in a while, just to give their body a break for a month, and I don't have a problem with that. But if it's working well for you and it's tweaking the hormones to be what they need to be in the right ranges, I would stay on it.
Training related question from Paulie. When doing incline barbell bench press, what is the best area on the chest to place the bar? We often have questions about the grip, but where on the chest should you place the bar?
You mean, I'm assuming he means where he should come down to. I always come down to around just above the nipple line, upper chest. And that seems to work really well for me on incline bench. On the flat bench, I might come right to the nipple. Once again, I always keep my elbows out to the side, and when I press press straight up. So this is my movement. I never have my arms tucked in like some power lifters do, because they try to use their triceps. remember, for bodybuilding purposes, you want to maximize, chest involvement, and that's going to involve, keeping those elbows out to the side when you're doing your set.
Question about, and I guess they mean in terms of recovery modalities. With so many therapies coming into the market, what would you say, in your opinion, or throughout many years in the industry as yourself, would you say are the most effective for building gains in and outside of the gym? So I'm assuming he just says therapy, so I'm assuming what he means is recovery modalities that are now in the market.
Well, I think massage is something that if you're at an elite level bodybuilder, it can be a little expensive, but getting a sports massage once a week is really, really good for recovery. Not everyone can afford it. Maybe you have to go every other week or once a month, but you got to go at least once a month. I mean, you're crazy if you don't. Jay used to get him every day. Every single day he had a massage, but Jay can afford it. I used to go once a week. And you know what? My recovery was better. I felt like the lactic acid got flushed out. I got stretched. It just felt really, really good. I would say that's number one. If you have an injury, I found that the best, modality was always ART therapy, active release techniques. If you combine that with chiropractic, even better. So, because I used to go to my friend Derlin Castro in New York, and Derlin would do ART if I had a problem in my shoulder or my back, or whatever muscle was bothering me, and then he would adjust me too. So I think that, adjustments and massage are imperative and very important. And then when you have injuries, ART is really good too. And of course, E-stim is good. And, even acupuncture if you have a nerve issue. These are all things that you can put in. But I think by and far, on a regular basis, if you got a sports massage once a week, I think you would avoid a lot of injuries and overuse issues.
Of the three, be it Wesley, or Ramon, who do you give the best shot if Chris Bumstead is to lose to claim the Classic Physique Olympia title?
Yeah, here's my problem with I like Ramon's physique the best of those three guys because I think he's freaky. He's got a teeny tiny waist. He's got great arms. His legs are spectacular. He's a little narrow, and I think that people don't see it when he's alone because his waist is so tiny. So his taper is really good. But when he stands next to Bumstead, who's so much wider than he is, even though their tapers may be very similar, because Ramon is a little narrower, Chris's structure outshines him. So I think that limits Ramon. Because I think we've seen Ramon on stage pretty much as close to his best and still can't beat Bumstead. So assuming Bumstead comes in at his best, I think the person who has the best chance to beat Bumstead would be someone with a big structure. Thus, Wesley Vissers fits that category because he might be actually a little wider than Bumstead. I still think Bumstead's physique flows better than Wesley's, but Wesley's got size now. He's got conditioning. He's got a big structure. He knows how to present himself really well in a conventional, Arnold sense of the word. And look, he just, I know that Ramon had a limited prep for the Arnold, but Wesley won the Arnold Classic. He's got to be the guy to beat at this point. If anyone's going to knock Bumstead off, I think it's going to be Wesley. I don't think anyone's going to do it, but if anyone's going to do it, I think it'll be Wesley.
That is going to do for this episode of Ask Dave. Again, this is Olympia week. Full disclosure, we recorded this on Monday. I know that many of our fans and many people who are going to be traveling to the Olympia are going to be coming from Florida. So we wish you all the best. Hope for a safe period for you and your families. Obviously, the hurricane is bearing down. Hoping that Dave will be able to make it over okay. I know he's scheduled to fly out tomorrow in real time. So that's going to be Tuesday morning.
I hope I can leave Tuesday morning. Yeah, exactly.
I know that our videographer, our photographer, he's going to be serving in the military capacity. So we thank him for that, though he is doubtful to make it for the Olympia. So sucks, but we are very grateful for what he's going to be doing for the people of Florida over there in the military, in the capacity of the military. But again, we are warm wishes to all of you in Florida who are watching this. Hopefully you and your families will be safe during the course of this week. And look, let's get the party started. It's going to be a fun Olympia period. It's going to be one of the most competitive lineups in the men's open class in many, many years. Obviously, yes, it will suck to not see Nick Walker on that stage for a second consecutive year, but you're going to have a lot of star power in the top four. And this is one of those Olympia titles that can go any way. And we're going to be very, very excited to bring you all the coverage. Dave and I will be there in real time tomorrow, Tuesday. So by the time you watch this, we will have been there for a good day. And we're going to be running around trying to get you good content, good footage from Vegas, from some of the local gyms in and around town. And then, of course, it all starts Thursday with the press conference and then prejudging on Friday. So, again, if you haven't already done so, obviously subscribe to this channel so you're not going to miss everything we have coming up. If you're not subscribed or you're not following us on Instagram, official_RX Muscle, we're going to be loading up our feed, our stories. So we're going to have you completely in the know with everything going on in Vegas during Olympia week. But if you haven't already entered our contest, the first ever RX Muscle Olympia prediction contest, the link is below. $750 top prize, $250 second prize, and supplement packages from Species Nutrition, free chicken from the Chicken Pound for first, second, and third. For Dave Palumbo, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. We'll see you next time.
See you at the Olympia.